everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our YNR chat for Sunday, April 19th, 2015. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I was not a happy YNR viewer toward the beginning of the week. I had a lot of groans, I had a lot of gripes, I felt annoyed by the show. They really turned it around toward the end of the week, but I'm gonna get my negative feelings out there first. I normally don't do that, but I have to just be honest about the way I'm feeling. There are two things that I never want to see on YNR. It's not YNR to me. It's not appealing to me. The first one is crime dramas and courtrooms. I could care less if I ever see the inside of a courtroom or a police station on the show. It's so drab and dark and icky to me. And the second thing is implausible storylines. There is a reason I am not watching Days of Our Lives. There is a reason I haven't watched many other soaps. I like reality. I like storylines that are about human experiences and, you know, the way people interact and emotion and love and romance and intrigue. And to me, all of those things are reasons why I started watching YNR in the first place, why YNR is my thing. And Jack's double, the twin storylines in general are not plausible. It's so hard to disconnect myself, and maybe you feel this way too, from reality for long enough to really enjoy and get into that part of the story. I hate twin storylines. I have always hated twin storylines. I'm sure that you've heard me talk about it before. It's a ridiculous twist. It's unnecessary. It's old school. Twin storylines have no place in soap operas in the year 2015. They really did not have a place in soap operas in the last 5 or 10 years. It's always dumb. It's always insulting to the viewer's intelligence. You know, one thing that I've learned from doing YNR chat for, I mean, I don't even know how long it's been, like 7 years or something that I've been doing this. You guys are smart. We're smart. We're not just dumb, so we watch soap operas, we're dumb housewives who are bored. No, we're intelligent viewers. This is the form of entertainment that we enjoy, and trying to make us believe or get into the idea that half of Genoa City, half of these people have twins out there is ridiculous and insulting. So I've been predicting, because of your feedback, that Jack had a twin for weeks. I mean, we've been talking about Jack's twin for going on a good month now. In fact, I think it was 3 weeks ago that I had a poll up at yrchat.com that said the Jack twin theory, are you buying it? And it was 50-50. I had a lot of voters in that poll, and it seemed like half of people got it. Yep, this is a twin, this is what it is, this is what I believe it is. So it not only is the twin thing dumb, but it was also, I guess, predictable on some level. I mean, true, I don't know if I would have figured it out if you wouldn't have pointed it out to me, but it was somewhat not a shocker, yet at the same time when I saw it, you know, even though I knew cognitively this has got to be what's going on, I was so disappointed to see it. I was absolutely dashed. I mean, the second they revealed that Jack had a twin, I felt angry with the show, and I felt so disappointed that this is where we are now. I hate it. I think it's so, I just think it's dumb. I just really think it's dumb. So Jack and Phyllis are on this romantic destination wedding in St. Bart's. Jack is looking so dapper. Phyllis is looking beautiful in her white gown. They're enjoying each other, enjoying this experience, and wildly in love. Jack and Phyllis being together, to me, is kind of the way it always should have been. I've always been a Jack and Phyllis fan. They seem like the perfect couple to me. So it was nice to think about them finally getting married, finally getting back together. And here they are with this kooky Swedish minister that I suppose was supposed to be funny, but it was almost, to me, just over the top and weird. I mean, there were some jokes in there. I get that Weiner was trying to make it a wedding with a personality, and so I guess that was it. But they get married. It was of course lacking in some fanfare, looking in retrospect why, but nobody knows where they are. This is another fun element of soap operas, right? I mean, they've gone on this wedding, they've turned off their phones while everything's burning down behind them back at home. And that's exactly what's going on. Back at home, at the same time that Jack and Phyllis are saying their vows, the big Billy has found out who it was that actually hacked the Gibault and Newman computer systems. Guess what? It was Jack. Oh, and we know it was Jack too, because you have to have a fingerprint to get into this computer room, and conveniently the fingerprints all sort of make sense now, as if, by the way, anyone going in to hack a computer system wouldn't know they were totally on camera. I mean, Billy has discovered the security footage that shows Jack walking in to the computer room, and there's a camera pointed right at the door. Who wouldn't know that? Or you're gonna go to the trouble of hacking and then not think about the security camera that's right up there pointed at you? It was so obvious that Jack wouldn't mind getting caught. It was totally ridiculous. So Billy tells Ashley that it was Jack. At the same time, Victor and Victoria are realizing also that it was Jack. Victoria completely assumes that Billy is involved, and it causes all of this rustle in their relationship, and I'm realizing, oh, this is the perfect scenario for Victor. He's essentially killing two abbots with one stone, getting at Jack and getting at Billy at the same time. So everyone in Genoa City is going, what? Why would Jack hack his own company's computer system in addition to Victor's? And then that's when we see the big reveal. Jack is tied to a bed somewhere at this, we see, I think we saw Jack and Phyllis getting married and being all romantic, and then a cut scene, hard cut scene to Jack tied up in the bed with Kelly there, very much alive, very much over the top. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed on so many freaking levels. So many freaking levels. First of all, it's disgusting to me that Phyllis is now married to a man that's basically a con. And I'll talk about Victor in a minute. I'm disgusted by the fact that Phyllis is married to a man that she doesn't know. She's now slept with a man that she doesn't know. Although I guess in retrospect, or maybe knowing in the future, Phyllis could possibly understand the scenario, considering she used to have a twin. Remember that? Remember Sheila's sister, Sarah Smythe, who got plastic surgery to look like Phyllis? I cannot handle the twin thing. It's so freaking ridiculous. So what are the odds that two people are getting married? They both had a twin. Whether it's an actual twin or a plastic surgery thing, I don't know. What are the odds? I also feel annoyed at what the hell's happened with Kelly. I really do. I never felt really connected to the character of Kelly, but now she's, with Victor's help, got Jack tied up, and she's thinking, I guess, that this is her chance to be with him, and it's such a hard character turn for me. I don't remember when Kelly became this. I felt annoyed by where Kelly walks in the room, reveals herself to be very much alive to Jack, and is the one that's got him tied up and whatever. And the way the actress is over the top, and oh hello Jack, and it's not Y&R to me. It's Days of Our Lives to me. It's Passions to me. It doesn't feel like she's a human being. I guess that's it. I can't relate to Kelly anymore. I could relate to the woman who lost her child. I could even relate to the woman who Jack totally strung along and screwed over, promised his love to her only to turn around and abandon her when Phyllis came back. I mean, he said, oh no, Phyllis comes back, I'm still yours. And then the second Phyllis comes back, the second he's gained Kelly's trust, he dumps her for Phyllis. I understand that, I get that, but how Kelly did this personality switch where she's just gone from human being to Disney character, I don't know. And it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. Jack revealed that the switch happened when he was with Phyllis in St. Bart's. So it was, Jack is saying all he remembers is being at the hotel with Phyllis, getting ready to get married, and then next thing he knows, he's woke up in I don't know where it is, a stables. I don't know if it almost looked like there was like horse stuff around. I don't know, not saddles, but I don't know where he is. Some kind of outhouse. To me, I thought horses, are they on the ranch somewhere? Some abandoned place on the ranch? I mean, everybody was led to believe that Kelly was off in some other country, but I wonder if Victor's just got them stashed maybe in that old house where Patty was hiding on the ranch. I'm not sure where exactly Jack is, but the implication there being that Phyllis has been completely duped in all of this. She's married to a stranger, and Kelly is having her way with Jack. It's gross. She's got him tied up, and she's wanting to smooch on him and unbutton his shirt and trick him or dupe him or sensory deprive him into loving her again. At this point, she actually drugged him and started presenting herself or talking to him in a way so that he thought he was talking to Phyllis, just so she can hear him say all of the sweet nothings that she's wanted him to say to her. And then when he comes out of it, she says, oh, you must be so hungry. Would you like some food? And the second he realizes, yes, he's hungry, he's been struggling for who knows how long, she puts this food right in front of his face, only to yank it away and say, but you love me, right? So and then the second he says, I could tell you what you want to hear, but it would be a lie. Who I love is Phyllis. And Kelly just hauls up and smacks him, just really lays just physically, just viciously into him. She beat him. She's got him drugged, deprived, and beaten. I don't know this woman. I don't know when this happened. I don't know if maybe Patty went and had plastic surgery to look like Kelly, because this isn't seeming like Kelly to me. This is seeming like Patty to me. And to tell you the truth, I never really liked the whole Patty storyline. To me, that was over the top. I at least want a kernel of something I can identify with. I don't mind a crazy character, but I gotta be able to get in there somewhere. I'm pretty empathetic. I can usually find some little grain of something to identify with, but with Kelly right now, I just can't at all. It's so over the top. I will say that egg bagel looked really good though. I must have been hungry when I was watching that scene, because I'm like, ooh, an egg bagel. What was it? Was it like a actual egg bagel, or was it a bagel with an egg on it and a couple of pieces of bacon, and they're extra crispy just the way Jack likes it because Mrs. Martinez taught her how to make his favorite breakfast? I gotta go to the store and get myself some egg bagel right now. That sounds amazing. I was like, just give him the food. What do you think you're gonna do? You're gonna deprive him of food and water until he says he loves you? If Jack is smart, he's and you know this is the other thing. The other thing I don't like is when stories are predictable, because he's gonna realize real quick that all he has to do is tell Kelly what he wants to hear and then use his wiles to get out. How hard is it gonna be? There's gonna be one maybe moment where she lets her guard down and then he makes a break for the door. How hard's that? I mean, he's gonna get her to untie him next week probably, and then all he has to do is bust through the door. Of course, then again, I don't know how long this is gonna go on. I don't know how long the real Jack is gonna be kept in captivity while twin Jack is out completely destroying Jack's life and his company. And here's the thing that annoys me more than anything else. This is the rub. I hate that this was Victor's big plan. I hate that he did it. I hate what it says about his character. For me, and I know everybody doesn't feel this way, but for me, The Young and the Restless is Victor Newman. He's the reason I started watching this show. He's a compelling character, that strong male lead. To me, Victor has always been and should always be a hero. I don't mind if he gets involved in the dirty dealings here and there, but this is ridiculous that Victor would have orchestrated this whole twin thing. And I don't care if it's, oh, hey, what do you know? I found this guy that looks exactly like Jack. And then I was like, yeah, I gotta exploit it. Or if it was giving the guy plastic surgery to get like Jack. I don't care how Victor came across this twin. The fact that he would use this, to get back at Jack is, it's too much. It doesn't make any sense to me. Just to get Jabot? That's the end goal here? You're gonna allow Phyllis, who's really has stood with Victor. Victor completely duped Phyllis into marrying and sleeping with a man, a stranger, who could harm her. This new Jack guy, we don't know who he is. He could be a serial killer. She could be off right now in St. Bart's with somebody who wants to do her harm. So I hate that he would do that to Phyllis. I hate that he would do that to Kelly. I hate that he would do this to Ashley, to his whole family. I don't believe that Victor would even go to this length to do this. Why does he have to be that guy? Why does he have to be the villain of the story? It doesn't even feel consistent to me. When the real Jack gets back and finds out what Victor has done, what's become of his life, including faking, that Victor faked Kelly's death, everyone's gonna hate Victor. Nikki's gonna hate Victor. Any goodwill he's built up with Victoria, she's gonna hate him. Everybody's gonna hate him. How does this benefit him? To get Jabot? And I'll tell you another thing too. Need I remind us all? Let's put this in the category of been done. Need I remind us all, the last time that Victor thought it would be a good idea to bring a twin into the situation, to get back at Jack no less. This is so dumb. This is so dumb! Well, I'll say, Y&R has done a really good job of incorporating history through the last couple of weeks. There have been lots of little clues that say, hey, we're new writers on this show, then we have a new head writer. And we're acknowledging the Y&R history. I'm not even going to list all the different ways, because they've done a good job of saying, we know the show. We're not just, you know, taking it out and being crazy with it. We understand there's a history here, and I appreciate that. But the last time Victor did this already was not even 5-6 years ago. He decided that, well, Jack was a little too happy, for one thing. This one was just pure revenge. Jack was happy with a really nice woman, a psychiatrist named Emily, somebody I really liked. And Victor decided he was gonna pull old Patty. Let's go find Patty Williams. We're gonna pull her out of whatever cave she's hiding in, and we're gonna give her plastic surgery to look like Emily, which is exactly what he did. And then old Patty comes in and she's doing switcheroo with Emily, and she's getting to play crazy in Jack's life, which is another thing. Like, I don't know why every woman who's ever been involved with Jack has to turn off to, you know, being crazy, because this Kelly thing is just Patty all over again, and I was really kind of hoping that Kelly was better than that. But so Patty comes in and she's switching places with Emily, and at the end of the day, Patty goes completely nuts. She thinks she's gonna get caught, and so she kidnaps an innocent bystander named Colleen Carlton, who was not a minor character on the show. Kidnaps her, takes her out to this lake, and meanwhile, this whole thing has become exposed. Jack realizes that Victor has created this whole twin scenario, and Victor and Jack go together out to this lake to try to talk some sense into Patty. And Patty is completely out of her mind. Poor Colleen, innocent bystander, only daughter of Tracy Abbott and Brett Carlton, goes to get in a boat to go get some help, trips, falls into the water, drowns, dies. Actually dies. And Patty has become so despondent, she shoots Victor right through his heart, okay? Victor unleashed this whole twin Patty thing on the families of Genoa City, and in the end, it got him shot right through the heart. Victor winds up in the hospital, and the Abbotts have to decide whether or not to give Victor, the man who did this, Colleen's heart. It was a really powerful, insane story, and it had a lot of it ended up having a lot of emotional elements to it, but of course, Jack doesn't want to give Victor the heart, but Tracy, angelic Tracy, who was the real victim in all of this, has to give Victor her dead daughter's heart. So, I ask you, Victor, after having gone through that whole thing, why would you unleash another twin scenario and think that it's gonna work out the way that you want it to? It's just another instance of, I can't connect with what could be going through this man's head, and I want to. Believe me, I know I'm watching a show. I know it's fiction. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not a Kelly. I'm not a Patty. I'm fully aware that I'm watching a show, but you know, I'm in for a penny. I might as well be in for a pound. And I've got a lot of comments this week from you guys, and it's really been all the same. I mean, and especially from seasoned soap opera viewers, and not only seasoned daytime viewers, but you know, people that you know in general are fans of TV dramas. So I've heard from a lot of people this week, and it's really all been overwhelmingly like, this is dumb. I have not heard from anybody that's gung-ho, oh, you know, hey, you know, it's just, it feels dumb to me. The only, the thing that kind of keeps sticking with me and that's pulling me out of it was I I had gotten a voicemail from Gary, who was the only person who called in and said, you know what, yeah, it may be dumb, but I just got to sit back and enjoy the ride. You know, there's a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm not going to feel emotionally invested in this. This is not my storyline. This one doesn't speak to me. Maybe it speaks to you. Maybe it speaks to somebody else. This one's not for me. So I just got to sit back and not take it too seriously. And I know that's what I've got to do, but it's so hard because it hit me in just the right way this week, and maybe I was feeling grumpy anyway. I don't know, but I want to watch the show and like laugh and feel, you know, good, and I want to laugh, but I also want to go, ooh, you know, I want some passion and all that stuff, and I'm not feeling it with the twin storyline, and I don't feel it with courtroom dramas. And frankly, I don't feel it in general with whodunit or murder storylines. I have to tell you guys, I don't trust me on this. Just trust me. Trust me. Trust your friend Allie to tell you the truth on this. You guys, Austin is alive. I mean, Courtney is probably alive too. We're running around chasing our tails trying to think about, oh, who could have killed Austin? He's not dead. He's just not dead. The thing is, the thing about soap operas is it's also like not it's not the old days of watching a soap. I mean, I know not everybody's watched for 20, 30 years. You may be a new viewer. But, you know, back in the older days, and by that, for me, I mean the 90s, for crying out loud, but pre-internet, okay? Watching a soap opera, there could be a murder and a big whodunit, and for all you knew, that character did die. That actor's off the show. They killed that person, and you would never know it. You were forced to be completely along for the ride. There's no spoilers. There really is no spoilers. And I think in a way that's why I don't like spoilers. You guys know that about me. I like to be along for the ride, and maybe it's me kind of appreciating the older days of soap before you could just go online and look and see, hey, is somebody leaving the show? What's everybody saying? What's the buzz? I mean, it's everywhere. There are total blogs and websites and magazines and everything just devoted to this whole genre of television. So there's no real way, or surprising us or pulling one over on us is far more difficult. We know the guy who plays Austin's still on the show. He just signed a freaking contract. Like, what was it, 2 or 3 months ago, the guy, before he even died, he freaking signed a contract. He's not dead. I should be a lawyer. I should be defending Sharon in this case is what it is, because I couldn't make a point. And furthermore, frankly, I just don't think Courtney's dead. I haven't heard anything about the actress actually leaving the show. I know she's off doing a couple of primetime roles right now, but at the end of the day, sorry guys, I want to bust up the suspension of disbelief here, but Austin's alive, and I think Courtney faked her own death in order to kind of bust him out, in order to get to the bottom of this. I think she did something to make herself appear dead, and so that she could kind of go undetected, and the killer thinks she's dead or something, and so she actually can go behind the scenes and look and find out what's really going on. I just don't buy it. I think the big reveal, and I don't know how freaking long it's going to take to get there, but it's going to be that these people are still alive, and we've just been chasing our tails. It's just, again, these are sort of old soap techniques to me, you know, and the little twin things, and you know, the whodunit, you know, yeah, there's still contract. I'm sorry. And so it's just the whole, I can't, the other thing is I just can't get into the whodunit anymore. I can't get into the Sharon thing anymore. It's driving me nuts every single step along this way. I'm struggling to watch this story. Oh, gosh. They get the results back from the tire iron, and of course it's got Sharon's fingerprints and her blood. I'm sorry, Sharon's fingerprints and Austin's blood all over it, and it's, you know, it's having the effect of bringing Dylan and Sharon together, which is a good thing. I just would like to see them fall in love or something. You know, that's all I require. I'd just like to see a nice, sweet love story between Dylan and Sharon. But instead, he is doing everything he can to defend her, despite the fact that, you know, the evidence is pointing everywhere that Sharon, sure, obviously, totally, Sharon killed Austin. Despite all of the evidence, Dylan is really there for her. He takes this tire iron and along with the results of the analytics or whatever they did on it, which by the way has totally put Avery's career in jeopardy. Dylan locks it up in a drawer in her office, and Sharon goes back on her own in the night to get it out of the drawer and probably save herself, and she gets freaking chloroformed and then wakes up the next day, or not the next day, I don't know how long it was, but she wakes up in her house with the tire iron next to her. I'm tired. I'm just tired. I'm tired of this already. She tries to flee. She decides she better just get out of town. And you know, it created some good drama. I did enjoy the moment where she's driving off in her car thinking, I'm guilty, no, you know, obviously all the signs are pointing to me, I better get out of here. And she gets did she get a flat tire or something? Her car, she stops on the side of the road, and then her car won't start again. If it was a flat tire, I think her tire iron is missing. I liked the point though where Kyle kind of ends up sort of catching her and says, "Hey, going somewhere, Sharon?" It was very villain-esque. I really like Kyle out of all of this. I'm kind of digging his too good for all of it vibe. So Kyle catches Sharon, brings her back to Genoa City, and then Paul shows up and actually gets involved and actually understands all of the evidence, and you know, they can't run from this anymore. They finally have to tell Paul about the tire iron, and that Sharon, all the signs are pointing to her, but nobody really believes it, and Paul just arrests her. I guess the other part of this that I don't like is, gosh, I'm so sorry to be so negative. I feel really bad, but I hope I'm not coming off too negative. I'm sure I am. But I don't want Sharon to be this. You know, Sharon's been through a lot. They really, really use this character for everything, and I just don't want this. I don't want to see her fighting for her freaking freedom. I don't want to see her fighting for her daughter. She's arrested. I didn't want to see her get arrested. And now we're going to have to go through a whole courtroom thing. And I don't know, it's just such a bummer. She had this arraignment hearing, which is, immediately she shows up in the courtroom and I'm like, does the woman have on high heels? We better make sure she doesn't. Don't let her go to the bathroom. That's how she got out of her last court date. I think she was having a trial for, Sky's murder, and she like goes to the bathroom and hacks out a window with her high heel and flees and runs off to a farm somewhere. I guess, you know what, maybe sometimes having seen the show for too long works against you, maybe, because you can't help comparing it to things you've seen in the past. You know, you gotta remember that not everybody's watched for 20 years, but, you know, I guess because in a way it's like, I've seen it before, but a lot of soap viewers have. I mean, the majority of us who watch the show probably have watched it for a little while, right? I mean, soaps can't be getting new viewers hands over fist when there's just so many different options out there. Anyway, whatever. It's completely ridiculous to me to think that Sharon would do this. It's completely ridiculous to me to think that everyone in town is, you know, besides Dylan, I suppose, is just like, sure, guess so, yeah, guess it was Sharon. Why not Sharon? Although Nick did make a good point this week. He said Nick is surprisingly absent from all of this. He's moving on with his life. He's got his daughter, and he's completely abandoned Sharon in all of this. She's got Dylan looking out for her, but he's just taking a step back, whatever. And he was kind of arguing with, I guess it was Noah later in the week, because Noah's still, you know, at this point in the story on the Sharon couldn't have done this bandwagon. But Nick says to Noah, you know what? Maybe she could have, and it's, you know, you can make your own decision, but let me tell you this, when she torched the ranch, do you think she was looking around to make sure that nobody was hurt? No. Sharon's reckless when her back's against the wall, and I believe she could have done this. I just can't. Really? Nick, though? Really? Though? You really think she could have just cold-bloodedly murdered, like premeditatedly gone out and murdered Austin, and then, you know, with a tire iron, and then turned around and killed her son's fiance on her wedding day? You think that? Because I don't. Maybe I know Sharon more than you do. So I don't know. It just seems ridiculous to me to even think that Sharon did it. Dylan is really being the one to defend her there. He tries to convince Avery to take Sharon's case. She has fired her public defender, so she has absolutely no attorney and is in yet again need of rescuing. So Dylan tries to talk his fiance into helping her, and he isn't able to, but he was able to get Michael to help her instead. So Michael shows up in the courtroom and tells the judge that she's not, you know, maybe she is a flight risk, but she does, you know, she's had mental illness. We can't just send her to jail. Let's put her on house arrest. She's she's accused of murdering 2 people. Yeah, house arrest. That happens. But it only happens because Michael has agreed to be her guardian. He's agreed to, like, stay with her in her house and be, like, keep an eye on her. Who even has a house arrest with a guardian? Just put an ankle bracelet on her if you're gonna give her house arrest. But Michael has volunteered himself to stay there with her. Of course, it conveniently gets him out of having to be intimate with his wife in an emotional way and in a physical way, which I think he's not able to do, and he's just pushing her closer, pushing his own wife closer to Kane. So this works out perfectly for him too, to avoid his own life. He's there with Sharon in the house when they learn that they've issued a search warrant for Sharon's house. Kind of surprising that they didn't, like, do that by now, you know, before they arrested her or whatever, and sent her to jail for her arraignment hearing. But now there's a warrant out to search her house, and I guess they learn about it before the cops actually get there. So Michael and Sharon and Dylan are looking through the house to see, oh, did the killer plant anything else? Obviously, they're trying to make it look like Sharon did it. So what else could he have planted here, especially since he was here with the tire iron? So Dylan goes out to the car and finds a necklace in the trunk, and it was the necklace that Courtney was wearing. Meanwhile, Noah is he's mourning the death of his fiance. He is out like planning her funeral, although it's kind of ridiculous to me to think that her parents, who were mentioned this week, I guess they were off cruising or something, and came home to find out that their daughter was dead. He's planning her funeral. It's hard for me to believe that the parents would allow the boyfriend to plan the funeral and pick out the casket and everything for their only daughter, I guess, as far as we know. But Noah is taking charge and basically making preparations to bury his fiance, which puts him in the same boat as Summer, which I will also tell you, when Austin and Courtney turn up alive in a few weeks, which they will, Summer is going to be completely involved with Kyle, and Austin's going to have some great excuse as to why he did what he did, and there's going to be that awkwardness between that threesome, and then Noah's going to not be able to forgive Courtney for faking her own death. I mean, he's going to have gone through the process of thinking that she was dead, and so that's going to probably completely bust up that relationship too. That's just my opinion, but I really, really feel it strongly. So that's going to be a problem. I mean, both Noah and Summer right now are realizing that they're mourning their spouses. They're young and they've just lost their spouses. And Noah's been on the fence trying to defend Sharon, but at the same time, everybody thinks that she's guilty. He ends up showing up at Sharon's house at the same time that they're discovering Courtney's necklace, and now Noah's like turning on her and realizing, what, why would you even have that? I've tried to defend you. And now, I mean, like Dylan and Sharon and Michael were prepared to hide this evidence, which again, Michael, are you putting your career at risk here too? Dylan is putting his relationship with multiple people at risk here, covering up for Sharon, but they're all completely willing to cover up this evidence for her. Noah comes in and sees it, and just as he's seeing it and realizing his mother might have actually done this, the cops are knocking at the door and busting in, and it's Sharon's begging Noah to help her hide the evidence. So I guess that was the big cliffhanger for the week. Is Noah going to jump on board with the Sharon's guilty bandwagon, or is he actually going to be there to to cover it up for her? Avery pushed Joe accidentally over the edge of the balcony, and he goes flying down there, just like flying down over the edge, and lands right into a dumpster. That's not real classy. I'm right on, and he's all crippled and like, oh, my back. Right on the dumpster. Apparently Superman cannot fly. He is whisked away in an ambulance, and Paul comes to the scene and begins to question Avery, who's so shocked by what happened that she ended up kind of confessing and telling too much, saying that he came on to her. I mean, she kind of tells the whole truth and talks to the cops without really being in lawyer mode, so it makes her look guilty as hell. I don't know why Paul was being so hard on Avery. Where's Paul when an actual crime has been committed? Avery didn't just push Joe over the edge because she felt like it. I mean, like, he was really drilling in on her as if she did something wrong, and I don't think she did, unless I'm viewing it a different way. But Avery's in the hot seat in more ways than one. She kind of incriminated herself with Paul when talking with Paul. She busted Dylan out for, why wasn't he at her big event, and also she's creating, she's having really contributing to the destruction of her relationship there. But now she also may have paralyzed a man. Joe is in the hospital. He can't feel his legs, so it's bad. It's looking, he's alive, but he may never walk again. And Avery is like the only one who's being there for him, and he's soaking up every single minute of that. Avery feels guilty that she did this to him, so she's at his bedside. She's trying to give him the positive talks. She's giving him the Burgess Meredith Rocky speeches. You can do this. I don't know. She's probably not as hard on him, but she's giving him the inspirational "you can do it" talks and trying to keep his mind focused in the right way. But you could tell he's just looking at her like she's his angel. I mean, she pushed him over the edge, and he's still, there's a part, it's, the part of me thinking that he's just soaking it up a little bit too much. My question is, how long is it going to be between the time when he actually gets the feeling back in his legs and when he actually tells everyone that he has the feeling back in his legs? Because I think there's probably going to be an overlap where he starts to be just fine, but he also doesn't want Avery's attention to turn away from him, so that he doesn't, want to lose her. But it doesn't even matter. The damage is already done. Dylan is busy fighting for Sharon, and Avery is busy fighting for Joe. The guy is like ripping his wires off of him in the hospital bed and flinging himself out of bed to try to walk again. Avery is the only thing that's keeping him anchored. Okay. I've taken a little break. I've composed myself, and now it's time to talk about the storylines that I am actually really, really enjoying this week. I asked myself, do I lead with the ones that I really like, or do I just get my negativity out the way? And I figured since that's sort of how the week progressed, because I so don't want to be negative fangirl, because you see that everywhere, and that's not who I am and not what I want to be. But I can't lie, I felt I had an emotional, visceral reaction toward the two main storylines toward the beginning of the week. I will say, as the week went on, I was in. I was really, really loving it. And I think that maybe the reason being that I'm feeling like the romantic couplings right now. It is moving in exactly the right direction. I am feeling Sage and Nick. I am feeling Billy and Victoria, and I am feeling Adam and Chelsea. I'll tell you, I am feeling Adam and Chelsea the way I did not feel them when it was the original Michael Mooney, or not original, but during Michael Mooney's portrayal. And I think some of it being, I just never got over Adam and Sharon. And now that we have a new actor playing Adam, the Chelsea and Adam connection feels totally real to me. It feels fresh to me. I feel like I can enjoy it without any hindrances whatsoever. But I want to start by talking about Sage. She decided to break free from her sham marriage, and she serves Adam, Gabriel, with divorce papers. And I was so proud of her. I'm just glad that she's actually standing up for what she needs, and she's going for it, and she is saying damn the consequences, because having admitted that they're to the auditor, whoever the executor, I guess, of Constance's estate, having admitted that the marriage was a complete sham, has also forced her into forced all of Constance's assets into probate. So even the inheritance that she got on her own is now being tied up. She's, by serving Gabriel with those divorce papers, she was forfeiting any kind of security that she had. She had no money, no job, but she does have a billionaire boyfriend on the hook. I mean, you know, that does help. There was a moment where she was revealing that to Nick. They're at the underground in his dingy office. She's saying, I got no money, I got no job. And there was a moment where Nick didn't respond. He just sort of sat there and listened to her. And I thought, you know, good for you, Nick. Don't offer to rescue her. You could easily offer her money. You could easily offer her a job. But he just let her talk and let her figure out about what she was gonna do. And now I don't know if she was angling or not. I'm not sure if she was just, I don't know Sage well enough to know if she's an angel or if she's actually she's just realized there's a bigger con to be had. Why deal with Adam's stuff when she's got his brother on the line and they're rich. So I mean, I can't really speak to what Sage's motives will end up being eventually, but I like her for now. I'm choosing to believe that she's a good girl for now. I reserve the right to change my opinion, and you never know how the story will turn. But I liked that Nick didn't immediately jump to her rescue, and then like 5 minutes later he jumped to her rescue. He says, you know what, I can give you a job. That's something I can at least do. So Sage gets a job at the underground, and Nick gets his chance to rescue a woman. Win-win for both of them. I feel the coupling. Nick got a haircut. Oh, he looks so much better. Did you guys notice that? He's looking so much better. He's looking sexy. He's looking cute. He's looking charming, and I find him and Sage to be charming together. I kind of like the way she is with him, almost like she doesn't have a whole lot of confidence, and he kind of gives that to her. And but she's coy too. She's not a damsel in distress. I think Sage, she knows who she is, but I think she hasn't maybe had a lot of experience in relationships, or this is is what she's putting out at this point, that she hasn't had a lot of relationships and that he's giving her confidence and kind of a reason, and she's really starry-eyed about him, and they're smooching at the office and they're smooching in public, and I'm just feeling it. I feel bad that Nick has completely abandoned Sharon, and I want Nick and Sharon to get back together eventually. You know, that's a dance that will always be there, but I am certainly enjoying Nick and Sage for now. So Adam this week it's just coming to a boil with his identity, and I think the storyline itself is really coming to a boil. I had a hard time connecting with the new Adam when he first came on, and again, I kind of think that some of it, what I said earlier about maybe having watched the show for so long, maybe does end up coloring your view or making it more difficult for you to accept new things. And maybe it's me getting older and more set in my ways, but I was struggling to accept this Adam because of the recast. But now the story it just feels so good. It feels so right to me. I am so excited more than anything else for Adam to reveal himself. He had this confrontation with Victor this week. He can't hardly help himself from wanting to lash out at Victor. Adam perhaps knows Victor more than anyone else in the world because he's his son and he's the child that's most like him. So even though Adam is under the guise of Gabriel right now, he's watching what's going down with Victor, with this hacking, and he's realizing that there's more than meets the eye. By the way, wouldn't it be kind of interesting if Adam is the one that ends up discovering that Jack is not really Jack? I mean, let's face it here. The real Jack is being tied up, and at some point we're gonna probably see a conversation between Adam and fake Jack where Adam alludes to the fact that he's really Adam, and Jack maybe doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's because Victor doesn't know, as far as we know. So Victor couldn't have filled in the fake Jack about this huge secret that only Jack knows. So that could tip Adam off to find Jack, or it could also be information that flows from fake Jack back to Victor. I guess I can't complain. You know, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be the conduit or if that's going to be the catalyst or whatever. But, you know, I see what they're doing with the twin. It's having the effect. I mean, and you know, and even the Sharon murder thing, it's what it's doing is pushing together the couples that I like. Unfortunately, you know, it's like the two techniques that they're using I don't love, but the overall direction I do love. And I think another one of the reasons that I am digging in with the Adam character right now is because it's all character. There's not as much movement, drama on that end. It's all subtle. And I think that the reason I also really love YNR is because it has this such rich long history. You know, if you want to watch a crime drama, or if you want to watch gosh, there are so many other shows out there you could be watching. The benefit to watching The Young and the Restless is that there is like 30 years, I mean, kind of loud, plus 30 plus years, right, of history to dig back into, and a lot of these characters have actually been on the show for that long. So I think part of the reason I enjoy the show so much is because I've gotten to know these people in a way. You know, you think you know these characters, and you like to remember how they were at one point and what they did that one time. That's sort of the appeal to it, and it's also the benefit to it. You don't get that with the shows that have been on the air for 3 to 5 years if they're lucky. So I'm really digging where Adam is in the storyline. I'm looking forward to finding out how Victor will end up learning that that's actually his son, and you know, realizing why this Gabriel character seems so invested. By the way, is there any chance that Victor already knows that it's actually Adam? Any chance that Jack told him when they were trapped in the underground? Or I think fake Jack's reaction to Adam will say a lot about what Victor knows or doesn't know. But Adam has this confrontation with Victor, and then he walks right in to this other confrontation with Billy. I mean, there's no love lost between these two guys. It's been building and building, building for weeks, and finally blood is drawn between them. Billy makes some sort of comment about how Gabriel reminds him of that bastard Adam, and Gabriel just hauls off and punches Billy. Can't take it anymore. Then Billy comes back and he punches Adam, and it's this great fight in the middle of the athletic club. Stitch tries to jump in to break it up, and oh, he's just come from getting his sister's ashes, and I think it was Billy accidentally kicked the urn, like he had it in a duffel bag or something, and in trying to break up the fight, Stitch dropped the bag, and then one of the guys like kicked the urn, which, Stitch, that's your fault. You should have maybe made sure the sister's ashes were a little more secure than in the middle of a man fight, but it was such a moment, and Stitch said something like, didn't you kick around my sister enough when she was alive? It was so horrible. I felt so bad for him. But the fight gets broken up, and Billy and Adam well, no, actually what happened was Victoria's there as well, and so Victoria naturally has to soothe Billy. She's just seen him get his face punched in, so she takes him off to the side and she starts, you know, loving on him, and Adam has seen this. Adam is starting to see that Billy and Victoria are getting closer. So Adam goes back home where he runs into Chelsea, and he doesn't waste a moment in telling Chelsea that he saw Victoria and Billy holding hands, and he sort of fans that flame a little bit of Chelsea's insecurity, and you know, she doesn't want to listen, but I think she does listen, and the writing was just so good in that scene between Adam and Chelsea, where, you know, he's trying to tell her, you know what, I don't know why you're so hung up on Billy. You know, essentially you should be with me. You know, I may be a jerk, but I'm your jerk. I may be a jerk, but I don't have eyes for anyone else, and I don't think you can say that for Billy. So it gets Chelsea insecure in just the right way. Beautiful scene, and she goes to the athletic club to find Billy, and, you know, trying to write it off. Oh, sure, you know, Billy and Victoria share a child together. That's what she just keeps telling herself over and over since the beginning of this relationship. But she goes to the athletic club, and she happens to walk in on Billy and Victoria not only having a moment, but slow making out, just like mwah, 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 right there in public, just kiss after holding heads, and it was kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yes, Billy and Victoria, thank you. I mean, we haven't seen this Billy and this Victoria, and it's kind of been building for a while, and I've thought to myself many times, what will that be like? What if those, you know, what's that chemistry going to be like? And it's there. I think it's there. I do like the new Billy. He's completely different from the other Billys. We just got to let that go. But I like the chemistry between those two. They like, this actor and actress just work together for me. It makes sense. It's a really good coupling, and I was so happy to see that kissing. It was kind of hot. But Chelsea, oh, she saw it. I felt so bad for her. I mean, just walking in after defending Billy and seeing him kissing his ex-wife, she turns around immediately. She stomps back to the condo where she busts through Gabriel's door just saying, kiss me, kiss me. What do you want to, you know, and Gabe's like, what Adam's like, what happening? And she says, you want to talk? Just kiss me. And he did more than just kiss her. They had this amazing love-making scene. Ooh, I'm saving the best for last, you guys, because I cannot even tell you. I was watching this show with my jaw up. I was smiling. I mean, you should have seen the smile on my face. I swear to God, I caught the reflection of myself watching that scene in the screen, and I was smiling. That's it. Thank you, YNR. This is daytime. This is what I want to see. I want to see love. I want to see passion. I want to see sex scenes. Yeah. That tell you, that scene, Adam and Chelsea, him like putting her up on that little coffee bar for a while and smooching her there, and then like even just like them peeling each other's clothes off for the first time, and then like moving to the floor and like getting all down and dirty there. I mean, that scene gave me chills. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. That was the end of Thursday's show, I wanted to say, and that was the moment it turned it all around. I was kind of negative on Y&R up until that point, and then I turned it around, and ooh, that made me happy. I think Friday's show opened up with Chelsea and Adam having done the deed. Adam is sitting there for the first time, I think, first time we've seen those actors shirt off. I don't know why that rang true with me, but immediately I'm like, I don't think I've seen his pecs before. These pecs look new to me. So I was happy to see Justin Hartley with his shirt off for the first time. That was nice. Thank you again, Y&R. And he's like, it was so cool to see Adam sitting on the couch looking up at Chelsea. I'm sure Chelsea's thinking, what did I just do? And I could see the wheels turning in Adam's mind. He was looking up at her like, how'd I do? How was the sex? Best sex since your dead husband? You could tell he wanted a report, or he wanted a grade on his report card. Like, you know, it was everything for Adam. This is what he's been waiting for. Oh, she came to me. He thinks this is victory. Punching Billy was the best thing he ever did. He's got Chelsea. This is the win for him. And not only was it passionate for him, but I think he wanted to show her that I'm better than Billy in every way, including in the bedroom. So it was so great. I really thought, whoa, she's like gonna be with Adam now. She says that she's gonna go home and tell Billy everything, and basically, I wasn't expecting it to be immediate, but she did say she can't go through with the wedding. She goes home to tell Billy. Billy's already there, and I thought, oh, this is going to be the breakup of Billy and Chelsea. Yay, kind of. Well, I don't feel bad because I didn't necessarily want them to break up, but after that sex, I was like, well, we're done here. Nothing else to say. Chelsea and Adam, Billy and Victoria, we're good. But no, of course, Billy immediately confesses that he kissed Victoria. I think Chelsea thought that Billy was going to hide that from her or keep that some secret, but he didn't. He confessed right away, and he said, this is what I did. I kissed Victoria. I feel awful about it. I regret it. I really don't even want to be with her. I want to be with you. And Chelsea does a 180 immediately. She realizes, oh, he made a mistake, but I made a mistake, a real mistake. But I don't even know what she's thinking or feeling in this moment. I think it's just, whoops, I accidentally did that. I accidentally messed up my plan. I accidentally let Gabriel get inside of my head, and I made a mistake, and I just need to correct that. Just need to correct. Billy's what I want. She says, you know, yes, I want you too. She doesn't tell him about the fact that she just slept with Gabriel. She just decides we need to get married, and now. So this wedding has been put on speed up, and fast forward to the wedding date, and Chelsea runs over to go tell Gabriel basically that she made a mistake, and she starts going on about how she was just using him. I mean, I didn't tell you about the fact that I saw them kissing, and so I just was feeling vulnerable, and I came in and I used you, and I'm sorry for that, but there's nothing between us. I don't feel the same way about you that you feel about me. I'm gonna go marry Billy. Which, tell me, do you think that is true? I don't. I think she's totally feeling it. I think she's totally feeling it with Gabriel, and she caught herself feeling it, felt guilty about what she's done with Billy, and so now she has to backtrack, and try to get away from him. I think she's still totally, like, she wants Gabriel now, but she can't throw away her relationship with Billy. So she kind of tells him, I didn't tell Billy, I'm just gonna marry him and you need to deal with it, and it's never gonna happen between us. And she runs out in the hall where there's this moment, Billy's coming home, and they're kind of talking, and like Adam could have busted her out. He could have said, yeah, I totally had sex with her, and what are you gonna do about it? Are you still gonna marry her? I mean, Adam could have totally blown up that secret, but I don't think he would have wanted to do that to her, and it doesn't make him look like the good guy at the end of the day. So he's still kind of keeping this secret for her, but I wonder if Adam's questioning himself. Is he wondering if it really was just revenge sex? Is he really not getting through to Chelsea? Or is she lying? Am I actually making a break? Is this progress or is it not progress? So Chelsea and Billy go off. They're gonna speed up the wedding date, and Adam kind of closes the door, and there's this scene of him all alone in this apartment, and they do this slow pan on his face. And again, those are the moments I like. A slow pan on his face did it for me. I mean, he was just, I don't know what on earth he must have been thinking, but I mean, he looked so intense. I mean, like going from a complete high to the lowest low. I mean, it was all right there on his face, and I thought, ooh, what's he gonna do? I mean, honestly, I think we've got to see the revelation of his identity happen sooner rather than later. I mean, it's kind of the only way he's gonna be able to stop that wedding. I got so many comments this week. I got a full page of comments that were just all so good, and I couldn't help myself. I mean, also, you know, it helps, maybe, I don't know, it helps me to know what you guys are thinking, because then I know whether or not I'm far off. Am I the only one that's feeling this way about that or not? I'm going to start off with a couple storylines that weren't really touched on as much this week, but as a matter of fact, to me, one of the biggest revelations came from a comment. Anna left me a voicemail about Neil and the Winters and Hillary and what's going on there, and it completely like dawned on me. I was talking last week about Hillary's plan to sleep with the ADA, and how on earth does that get Neil out of these charges? And Anna like blew my mind, saying, hello, Hillary sleeping with the ADA creates a conflict of interest. What she's gonna do is sleep with that ADA, and then later when it goes to trial, say, oh, well, you got no case against him considering the fact that you're sleeping with the defendant's wife. Yes, that is it. I love that point. Very, very astute. Gary called into my voicemail, and this made me laugh too, because he says, Allie, are you gearing up for months and months of Avery dedicating herself to Joe's recovery? I laughed at that because it's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, we're going to be dealing with Joe trying to learn to walk again for a while, and shoot, I kind of hope it's not drug out too much. I just feel like I see it all unfolded right before me. I feel like we're gonna go through the process of him learning to walk again, and I think he's gonna be faking it at some point because it's getting him closer to Avery. He loves getting this attention from her, so I think he's gonna, you know, use it to his advantage in every possible way. I don't think Joe's the good guy in any of this. Okay, let's talk about Jack's double. Beatrice called into my voicemail and said Y&R did this double storyline years ago with Catherine, brought in her double to steal her company. And I do remember that. They, you know, brought in Marge and made her look like she was Catherine, and it was all just to try to get her company away from him. So yes, again, it's like, I think because we've watched the show for so long, you can't help seeing these different patterns, but the twin or the double one is just, it's such an obvious, such an obvious technique that it's hard not to remember those. And again, Henry called into my voicemail and said YNR has exhausted the double thing. We've got, Jack, Phyllis, Cassie, it's over the top. And that's the phrase that kind of stuck with me throughout the week because Henry kind of put that in my head. It is over the top. Let's take us to the top, but I don't want to go over the top. And we just had the plastic surgery thing with Adam. We just had the Cassie thing. Who on YNR has not had a double? I don't even go over the list. I also, I guess part of the reason why I felt okay to talk about my negative feelings this week, I got a series of really, really good voicemails from Michael. And he's clearly somebody who's watched a lot of soaps, watched a lot of these series, is familiar with the current writer that we've had, and I can't even tell you, Michael, if you're listening, I was 100% with everything you were saying. The point that Michael brought up initially was about how on Friday's show, Michael Baldwin was not feeling well. I think it was Friday. I think it was from Friday to Monday. I can't remember. But before we knew it, Michael was in the hospital. Was it Monday or Tuesday's show? Opened up with Michael just in the hospital. And I was thrown off by that. I don't know if anybody, I was so glad that somebody else caught that because I went back and, am I watching the right episode? Did I miss an episode? I feel like a lot lately, I'm sorry, since the new writers took over, I start thinking, did I miss something? It keeps happening to me. I keep thinking, did I miss an episode? Did I miss a scene? And it's not. They're jumping around. And what Michael on my voicemail had said was, hey, don't tell us, show us. We went from Michael feeling a little ill and making up an excuse to leave the gala to all of a sudden he's in the hospital. And what Michael was saying in his voicemail is, in the old days, Michael Baldwin would have passed out in front of everyone in Genoa City. They would have played up the drama. And I agree so much, and that described how I'm feeling. I feel like we're trying to get to the action scenes, and what Michael was saying in his voicemail was it's not anti the new writers, because this new writer is probably going to bring us some really great stuff, but it does feel like the focus of the show right now is plot and action and shock value, and I just couldn't agree more. But actually what Michael in his voicemail had said was that, it's all plot, but none of it really leads to anything of importance. Yes, it's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. And I don't want to be negative, but that is, I'm not getting the character. I'm not getting the story. I'm not getting the journey. I'm getting all of the highlights in between, and the big bangs and the plane crash and the fire and the Joe falling off a balcony, and I'm getting all of the action, but I'm not getting the journey to go there, and I want to be on the journey. Watching a soap is a commitment, and it's not a slow thing either. 5 days a week you're watching the show. You're on a journey. And for some of us, you're on a journey for decades. I don't want to miss my journey just to be getting plot points. A lot of people talking about Sharon and the whole Austin murder and the switching of the coupling with Sharon and Dylan. Jennifer Budin left a message on YouTube and said, I am here for Sharon taking Avery's man. Yep, Avery played a major role in taking away Sharon's heart, faith. I want Sharon to take Avery's man, take her home, take her dog and her cat, and Joe when he's able to walk again. That was good. I noticed that a lot of people, maybe it's just people who gravitate toward me and YNR chat, do seem to support Sharon a lot, and I think that's really good. I don't ever want to hate on characters, and I think Sharon is such an easy target, and so I guess maybe that makes me feel more for her. But I'm glad that people. The Sharon hate is just too easy. Let's try to love one another, shall we? Ryan Carey on YouTube says, I personally don't feel bad for Avery at all. Avery treated Sharon like dirt for so long, and now her man is slipping away from her. Oh well, that's what she gets for helping Nick take Faith away from her. So that seems to be where the mindset is. And then also on YouTube, BXGirlHS says, I am really tired of this show dragging Sharon through the mud. She really does need a break. She was doing so well this past year, and she just seems to be getting back to the Sharon of old. That's exactly how I feel. Why does it always have to be Sharon? I said it last week. Why does it always have to be Sharon? For that matter, why does it always have to be Victor? I'm just thinking back to this voicemail that Michael had left. It was just so good, and it related to other shows. I know not everybody's watched Days of Our Lives, but Michael had said, why does Victor have to be Stefano Demira? I agree. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't feel consistent with the characters. I don't know how to say this exactly. Lot Fowley left a message on YRChat.com and said, I don't think we'll see Austin and Courtney again unless they pull a Cassie and come back as twin versions of themselves. We've seen their corpses, so it'll be hard for the writers to get around that, unlike when Malcolm disappeared and was presumed dead until he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I know the body thing is hard to get around, but I mean, I just feel it. I just feel like these characters are alive, and I mean, the writers, they could do anything. If they could make you think that somebody had plastic surgery to look exactly like somebody else, I don't know, to me a body isn't too hard to get around. I mean, it seemed Austin's casket was not open, and we didn't see Courtney's body after they covered her up with a sheet and took her away. So I feel like there's a little bit of gap there, personally. That's kind of what I'm thinking, to maybe make that happen. One other thing I wanted to say was I kind of felt like last week, maybe this is backtracking a little bit, but I kind of thought, am I being too on Avery's side? Because last week I was just really with her and how Dylan kind of left her at her big event and was kind of doing it in order to help Sharon, and how Avery put her career on the line there to help Sharon. And after I thought about it, I thought, am I being too pro Avery? So I think maybe that's why I got all the pro Sharon comments too. I really can see both sides. It's sort of my blessing and my curse of my personality. So I really can see both. I don't blame Avery, but I don't blame Sharon. It just sort of is the situation. Monique on Facebook says, to me, Sharon and Dylan are like another version of Adam and Sharon minus the toxic part of their relationship. Sharon gets framed for murder, everyone turns their back on her, and the only one there to help her is Dylan. He's already lying for Sharon and giving her alibis, which is the same thing Adam did for Sharon when she burnt down the Newman Ranch. Yes, true. Truth, Monique. And I also, maybe that's part of what the appeal is. I'm kind of looking forward to Sharon and Dylan. I mean, is anybody else feeling that way? I really liked Dylan and Avery, absolutely, but I'm also very interested to see how the Dylan and Sharon dynamic will progress, and frankly, I kind of think Avery and Joe have some chemistry too. So it feels to me that the direction the couples are going are exactly right. It's the one thing about the show right now, well, maybe not the one thing, but it's something about the show right now that I'm like, ooh, they are nailing it. The couples are dead on. This is where I need them to be. Thank you. And it's without, so I don't know. It's good. It's good. I like it. Oh, but also Monique said, Sage is driving me crazy. She inserts herself into matters that don't involve her. She had no business being at the police station after Courtney had died. It was a family matter between Nick, Sharon, and Noah. She needs to know her boundaries. I wanted to talk about that this week because I didn't talk about it last week. I thought that completely. I completely agree. As much as I do like Nick and Sage, I'm seeing Sage button up into Nick's life in every single way, and Nick did try to reassure her this week that she's not causing more drama. She's giving him, she's there for him and he appreciates her presence, but I 100% agreed that Sage had no business being in that police station, and I think she's doing a real good job of establishing herself as the new woman in Nick's life, and it's a little early for that, isn't it? Anna on Facebook said, question, how did Sage know of Courtney's death? Sage told Nick that she heard the news, but the thing is, Paul prevented the news leak and Nick never told or texted Sage of the news. Good point. I mean, that's the thing. As much as I like Sage, I also am kind of reserving myself for where YNR chooses to take the character, because there's something about her that, and this is what I like in a villain, not being one-dimensional. And that's why the Kelly thing is not connecting with me right now. I can accept a villain and like a villain, but I want a kernel of redeemability and identifiability. And so if YNR does choose to twist Sage into a dark direction, at least I'm already liking her. I'm already on board. I'm already kind of understanding what her motives and motivation might be. So that to me is what makes a villain compelling. Yeah, just me. Okay, I'm gonna end on this really good comment I got from Robert Stump on YouTube. He says, I think the whole basically Austin Murder Cabin thing is a story by Kevin. Remember in the beginning they mentioned it and it sounded so much like something they had read? So really, no one is dead. It's all part of Kevin's story. Let your mind wrap around that one. Okay. Wow, I knew this was gonna be an explosive YNR chat. I told myself, I'm gonna wear a t-shirt today because I know I'm gonna get heated, I'm gonna get hot. I don't want to be sweaty. It's not even hot outside at all here, but I had the forethought of thinking, I know I'm gonna get worked up today. I better have on a t-shirt so I can keep the air flowing. I knew it. I just knew it. I hope nobody's mad at me. I hope I didn't come off as too negative. I know I got a little vicious. I got vicious there. I'm sorry. I'm passionate about my YNR. It's my thing. So please don't be mad at me. And feel free to tell me what your opinions are. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of what we've got going on here. You don't have to hide it. You can just let it rip. You can call into the YNR hotline and leave me a voicemail. The number is 309-588-4569. You can comment wherever you're watching it, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, you can comment on iTunes, you can go to yrchat.com, leave a comment there, and you can also find my links to Facebook and Twitter. So I'm out there if you want to feedback and let me know how you're feeling about this, all of these twists. What's the state of the show right now? This isn't the first time I've ever talked about, the state of the show or how I'm kind of, feeling about the overall thing. And we do have new writers and it is distinct. And you can't deny that there is, starting with all of those disaster weeks, the February, the Valentine's week, you can see the shift in the show. So why not talk about it, right? That's my theory anyway. So you guys feel free to talk to me. I better get going. I think this is probably going to be extra long, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back next week. We'll see where we are. I mean, as much as I can complain about maybe the methods, I think we're probably still going to get some good motives and some good scenes and some good moments. May not love the method, but I think we might like the moments. So, okay, I'll see you guys next week. I love ya. Bye.